Jill Robin-Kesno, RVT, and founder of Animal RN. I'm doing a little cleaning around the garage today, and as I'm putting these two crates away, it reminds me that there's a couple differences between them, and people ask me all the time about buying crates or seatbelts or harnesses, crates in the home, and I thought I'd share with you a couple of differences between two that look very similar, so that might help you when you're out purchasing your next crate. We don't waste money on things we don't need, and yet you spend the money to get just the right fit for you. This first crate here over on the left, it's called a Kennel Air, and the spacing, the squares so to speak, it's only 1 inch square. And you want to compare that to this crate over here. The brand is Precision, but to be honest, this is more common of any of the lesser brands, and that's not necessarily a bad thing depending on what you're looking for. But these are quite wide. They're anywhere from 1 inch wide and then up to 4 inches long. The differences also include the gauge of the wire. The Kennel Air crate has bendable wire. So there's a few stories we can look at online, maybe I'll put the link to it for you, that include car accidents and the crate getting impacted. If this were to get crushed to where it needed to break, it would break before it would bend. What happens from there is that then the animal can be punctured from inside of there, and then of course you have an open loose crate. With this one, because the gauge is actually smaller, it's able to bend. So what happens then is it's more likely to stay intact and keep your animal safe, and if it were to have a problem, it's going to bend as opposed to puncturing your animal, and therefore be a little bit less of a threat. Another question I get quite often is, I have 2 dogs, how am I going to put 2 of these in my car plus my family? Now, when we're talking about transporting animals in the car, of course, crates are a great safe way. They keep the animals out of the people's way, so you don't have small dogs underneath the brake pedal causing an accident. You don't have them coming out of windows. You also know that they're secure from other people coming in and grabbing them very easily. It also contains their messes, whatever that might be. Sometimes it's just fur, sometimes it's not just fur, to one area, and that makes it easier. But you can also use things like harnesses and seat belts that are made especially for dogs. We always want to make sure that we remember that when we're buying those products, if you're thinking about car safety, the number one is just keeping the animal out of your way. And then the second from there is think about the worst case scenario. You don't need a seat belt, even yourself, for nothing. You need a seat belt for when something happens. So a lot of times when people are looking at having a crate or a seat belt or harness or not, they're thinking that their animals are fine, how much they enjoy looking out the window, but they're forgetting that what if factor. What if you're rear-ended? What if you run through an intersection and you shouldn't? What if is the next piece. What if your car door blows open? What if you're personally unconscious? What will happen then? In the case of both these crates, these are both wire crates, they're open. One thing I like about an open crate is you can leave it open so you can get the airway so your animals can see you. There's a lot of advantages. This also can kind of disappear in a room or in an area because you can see through it a bit compared to one of those permanently enclosed crates. Now these are great too because they can be covered. You can buy special covers for them, or you can just take a blanket or a sunshade and plop it right over top of that. This can serve not only for providing shade, but it can also think like birds in their cages. By putting a darkness over the crate, you can kind of train your animals to understand that it's quiet time or it's bedtime and kind of condition them a little bit. And think animals too, we talk about how they like caves. They like to have their own space. Regardless of the type of crate you use, I do like to make sure that people and the children especially in the homes understand that no one enters the crate. No part of your body should go into the crate. This is for our animals and it should be their sanctuary. If you are going to use a crate in a car or a truck, you do want to secure it in some way because they're usually pretty heavy, and then depending on the size of your dog, they'll be weighted down to that extent. But we want to make sure that we go that little bit extra. So one of the best things I find is so many cars are so modular now between being able to take seats in and out, different places to hook in. Think about your baby seats and your booster seats. The same mechanisms that you would attach those seats to your car can also be used with a simple tie down and your dog crate. Another great advantage to these wire crates in general is that they fold flat. It's called folding into a suitcase style. So by the time they're folded flat, they take up only the size of their footprint, and then anywhere, depending on the height, especially made ones for SUVs are a bit taller, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. So they can be tucked away and put aside when you're having company over, or if it's something that you don't want to have out all the time. There are some soft-sided crates that fold flat like that as well. We'll talk about those in another video another time. Until then, have a wonderful day and keep your baby safe.